Hello everyone and welcome back to a new series on the channel. Today it's going to be starting, as you can tell from the screen right now and the title of the video, we are going to be starting a basketball GM save. We are going to be choosing a random team and we are going to be doing, I would say, probably at least 5 seasons with that team. So if you are excited for this content and want to see me do more basketball GM stuff, smash a thumbs up on the video and let's get into choosing our team. So I've chosen a new Real Players League. Everything should be pretty accurate to real life. And we have this random button. We are going to hit it, and the first team we get, we are going to use. To be fair, I do have the power of video editing, so you're just going to have to trust me that it's the first team that we got, because I could just cut out and just choose whatever team I want, but I'm kind of prepared for a contender or a complete rebuild. I've done both on this game, and I feel like I've had pretty solid success with both. So in 3 seconds, we are going to choose the team for this save, and go Memphis Grizzlies. We are going to have Ja Morant. And we are going to create the league. We are going to take a peek at the roster. And hopefully we're going to make some trades this episode and probably sim to the trade deadline of the All-Star break. Jaren Jackson Jr. is very injured. That is annoying because I forgot about that. Jonte Porter's injured. Justice Winslow is injured. Jaren Jackson Jr., this is going to sound really dumb, but he might be someone I'd be willing to move on from in this save, just for the fact that he always asks for a lot of money in these rebuilds. So we will see how that turns out. D'Anthony Melton is going to be our 6th man this year. So I guess to start the season, we're going to have to go something like this. Dillon Brooks, Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Kyle Anderson, Jonas Valanciunas, Clark and Tillman, both locked down for quite a while. And Jaren Jackson Jr. expires next season. Am I actually going to explore a Jaren Jackson Jr. trade? That would be pretty crazy. We have a first round pick from Utah and Golden State. So draft picks are definitely something we want in this rebuild. Any trade with, if you're not familiar with Basketball GM, any trade with this red writing means that the trade is not financially possible and you kind of have to build the trade your own. So although this trade wouldn't work, if I wanted Enes Kanter really badly, I could just find a salary match and probably offer up another pick. Goran Dragic is kind of interesting, but I would have to give up extra salary. But then again, I could get rid of Justice Winslow and they could give me Precious Achiuwa. Is that a good deal? I would probably want at least a second. If this could be done, I think I would do it. Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa for Jaren Jackson Jr. and Justice Winslow. Because Achiuwa's on a great contract until 2024. Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to want a lot. And he gets super injury prone. But then again, he's really good. So maybe I should try and keep Jaren Jackson Jr. and build around him and Ja. You know what? I'm not going to offer it. What about getting rid of Brandon Clark? I want to make a big splash this episode, and oh my gosh, Nikola Vucevic. He's better. It's tough. Okay. You know what? I'm probably going to cut here, and I will come back to you guys when I have some semblance of a trade to go on. So I will be back. Okay, we are back. I think I have a trade offer I'm going to submit. I'm going to be giving up Justice Winslow, who's currently injured, and John Conchar, who is on two and a little less than $2.5 million for 3 more years. And I'm going to be trying to get Precious Achiuwa, Max Strus, and Andre Iguodala just for a salary fill. Close but not good enough. They like Iguodala a lot. What if I did someone else? What if I took on... I can't take on Dragic. What if I took on Bjelica? They want him. Trevor Ariza, who's also injured, I guess. Expiring deal. Close. Okay, I guess I'm going for... I'm going to go for Bjelica. I feel like he'll be the easiest. Killian Tilly, can't give him up. What if I gave up a second from Portland and my 2024 second from Toronto? What about this one from Utah? Okay, so I gave up a first round pick from Utah for Precious Achiuwa, but the pick was next year, so I don't think it's going to be an amazing pick, which leaves us with a ton of power forwards. So I think Brandon Clark and Nemanja Bjelica are next on the trade block. So neither of them are someone we need right now, I don't think. So I am maybe going to find some future assets, like Poku's just another power forward. I'm just going to ask for trade proposals again. Josh Hart. Golden State would give up some picks. Phoenix would give up Sarge and Crowder. Portland would give up a pick. Trez, not bad. So, for Bjelica and Brandon Clark, we're going to try and get a first from Golden State. Can't get Wiseman. Oubre? Okay, they value Oubre, I assume, quite a bit. Bazemore. Kevon Looney. They don't want to give all that up. Okay, those three are what's going to have to make the deal work. Okay, we are back for another trade. This is probably my last trade of this season. We traded for Doug McDermott, Edmund Sumner, O'Shea Brissett, and a 2021 first-round pick for Max Strus, Brandon Clark, Nemanja Bjelica, the second from Portland, and the second from Toronto. So we are going to do a final roster look before we start simulating through this season. Still going with Dylan Brooks, Ja Morant, Jonas Valanciunas, Desmond Bane, and Kyle Anderson to start off the season. Precious Achiuwa is ahead of Tillman. Sumner's behind Tyus Jones. So Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jonte Porter are both probably going to miss this entire video, if I had to guess. Doug McDermott is going to be a good bench player for us, I think. We don't have a bench center, which kind of worries me. If we have... Is there someone on the buyout market we can get? No, not really. So, I guess we're going to head into the season like this and maybe make a trade mid-season when... if we can try and pick up a backup center if it's starting to be a problem. But maybe Achiuwa can play there. Or Tillman. So I am going to sim probably to around the trade deadline or the All-Star game. And we will let you guys know what is happening with the team if any big news comes up. Okay, a check-in. We are 10-17 currently. Ja Morant and Jonas Valanciunas, of all people, have been kind of killing it this season from what I've seen. Dylan Brooks, you can tell against Houston, had a stinker. In terms of injury timeline, 23 games still for Jaren Jackson, 13, and then Desmond Bane and DeAnthony Melton picked up small injuries, but I think the biggest injury we've had so far has been like 5 games for Ja, so nothing too bad, and we're just going to keep moving through until this trade deadline. Okay, we are back with a trade alert. I think we are going to do Sean McDermott and Killian Tilly for Khem Birch as a third choice center. We got that done. So if we look at the roster now, we are 13-27 through 40 games, and Khem Birch is there. We have one free roster spot, so oh my gosh. Okay, the options are pretty terrible, I'm not gonna lie. So honestly, I'm probably not gonna sign anyone quite yet. We are going to go forward more, and we are going to go to the trade deadline and see where that leaves us. Okay, as we can tell, we are not a playoff team by any stretch of the imagination. We are 15-33. It is the trade deadline, and the standings look like that. We are the only team worse than us is the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, also, yeah, if you're not familiar with Basketball GM, they have all the cities correct, but the team names are different. So I will just be referring to them as their standard NBA teams. So the Thunder below us, we are a few games behind Houston, Utah, New Orleans. I was not expecting Utah to be that bad, but I guess the Kings are doing a lot better than expected. Very interesting. Also, Phoenix not that good. Neither of those teams seem to simulate quite as well, because I mean, no one thought they were going to be that good. But I think I'm probably done with trades, despite it being the trade deadline. Jaren Jackson Jr. just got back, so he will be moving straight into the starting lineup instead of Kyle Anderson. And he is going to be probably the second option behind Ja. So yeah, him, Ja, Dylan Brooks, Jonas Valanciunas, and Desmond Bane is the lineup right now. Xavier Tillman has a small injury, and I'm probably just going to go to the end of the season, and then this video will be over. Okay, we are 18-40. The All-Star game has passed. We had no All-Stars this season, sadly. Ja Morant only putting up 16-8, so probably deservedly not an All-Star. And Jonas Valanciunas putting up 16-10, not quite an All-Star. And yeah, we are still struggling towards the bottom of the Western Conference, so it'll be a good pick for us because the Thunder are now better than us. But the Cleveland Cavaliers are so unbelievably bad. 5-55, and the Orlando Magic are also worse than us. So now, unless any major injury happens or anything, we are just going to go straight to the end of the season. Okay, we are here at the end of the season. We obviously did not make the playoffs. We're going to go through some player stats, and then we are going to sim through the playoffs and look at the draft lottery. So far this season, Ja ended 15-8.5. Jaren Jackson Jr. with 15-6-1. Not a good season from anyone in particular, really. I mean, Valanciunas was solid. Dylan Brooks' three-point percentage was solid, but on a losing team, we definitely did not build any momentum of any sort. One of Tyus Jones and DeAnthony Melton have to go. Those are a lot of money for backup point guards. I mean, obviously DeAnthony Melton is better, but if I could get a solid asset out of him, I would probably trade him. I've seen him become an all-star once actually in a different save, but I'm not super worried about it because Ja's kind of the franchise guard here, and I want someone like Desmond Bane or Dylan Brooks playing in the backcourt with him. So if we look at the standings, I believe we still finished bottom. Yes, we did. 24 wins. So Cavs, Magic, and Pistons all doing as bad or worse than us. So we are going to go into the playoffs, and we are going to sim round by round. 39 and 43 teams got into the playoffs in the West. We really were terrible this season. The 1 and 2 seed on both sides, the Lakers and the Nets, what a surprise. And the Brooklyn Nets win. Harden is your finals MVP. The Lakers were the best team in the NBA. Emmanuel Quickley, Rookie of the Year. Rajon Rondo, Sixth Man of the Year. Bam, DPOY. Very interesting. All rookie team, pretty interesting. Peyton Pritchard and Teo Maledon. So we get our message from the owner. Said it was a good year. Interesting. We have the third best odds at the number 1 pick. Let's start the lottery. Hopefully we can get pick 1. I mean, oh, we dropped to 4. You've got to be kidding me. Okay, who do we want in this draft? What position do we want? So they have the real draft class. Cade Cunningham. I don't know how to say that. Jonathan Kuminga, Zaire Williams. Jonathan Kuminga or Greg Brown or Usman Garuba. Or even Jalen Suggs or Moses Moody. There's a lot of good players in this draft. We have number 19 from the Indiana Pacers as well. Forgot about that. So we have picks 4 and 19. I mean, we can definitely get 2 very good players out of this draft with 4 and 19. Do I try and trade up to guarantee? I mean, I don't need Cade, so I really shouldn't. I should go for Kuminga and hope someone takes Rocco Prockin and then Zaire Williams first. Or maybe Garuba. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to simulate forward. Cade would probably go to the Magic. Yeah, Cade went to the Magic. He's like almost a guaranteed all-star. Okay. Cleveland, they have guards. They need forwards, I think, besides Isaac. Maybe they'll take Garuba. Zaire Williams. If these people take Prockin, I'd be happy because I really want Garuba or Kuminga. Do I even want Garuba? Kuminga's the top target. Jalen Suggs. So with the 4th pick in the 2021 draft, we are selecting Jonathan Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga out of the G League. Looks pretty good. I don't think I've ever drafted him, but he's going to be a Memphis Grizzly. And as we go back to the draft, who were, just out of curiosity, Jalen Green, Prockin got taken by OKC, but they had back-to-backs. Greg Brown, James Bouknight. So sim to my next pick. Definitely some good players left on the board. Terrence Clark, Daron Sharp. Usman Garuba got taken at 13 by San Antonio. So if we sort by potential, CJ Walker, Luke Garza, Brandon Boston, Keon Johnson, Jalen Johnson. Luke Garza is definitely tempting just to get a good backup big. Luke Garza out of Iowa, 6'11". Good 3 shooter. So him or CJ Walker we're really looking at. Just because, I mean, Brandon Boston wouldn't be bad either. CJ Walker has the highest potential, though, at a UCF. Solid athlete, solid skill, could be a better offensive player. So I think I'm honestly gonna go with, I'm gonna go Luke Garza. I'm thinking maybe I should have picked Brandon Boston, but we need a center, and I feel like I always need good backup bigs, and someone who can shoot the ball like Luke Garza might be solid for us. Not signing O'Shea Brissett back. Kem Birch, and then Dougie McBuckets. We'll give him a 2-year deal. I'm not trying to sign him for 3 years. We have 1 space left, and we have $12 million in cap space. So we could sign ourselves a solid little player. Players in our budget. McConnell, Porter. Okay, it doesn't look super promising in terms of signing someone who's actually worth the money. I think I might end up saving this cap space, really, because no one here is particularly enticing. When we look at what moves we need to make in the offseason, I think we're set at point guard, power forward. Shooting guard, small forward feels fine. Jonathan Kuminga will definitely move up, and he'll probably go up in the offseason and overall, to be honest, as I assume Luke Garza will a little bit. But I think Jonathan Kuminga will probably take a big step up. Bigs. Maybe a backup wing is all I'm going to sign. So in this game, you always want to sim forward a little bit because players' demands go down in free agency. I mean, unless someone else is going to sign them, then don't sim forward because then you won't get them. But Wesley Matthews, Wayne Ellington. Wesley Matthews will sign, Wayne Ellington won't. DeMarcus Cousins is interesting, but I kind of want to get Luke Garza more of that time. James Ennis. Nerlens Noel. Lou Will. Wesley Matthews is probably going to go down a solid bit, but this is just an end-of-the-bench player. So we are going to stay on the roster screen, and we are going to see how our players develop over the off-season, and then we are going to end the video before we start Season 2. Ja Morant went down, and that's honestly fair. He was terrible last season. I just hope he can still reach his potential, because sometimes in this game, you know, players just don't play to the best of their abilities, and it happens in real life all the time. Jonathan Kuminga went up a lot, and will probably be close to the 6th man next year. He's almost good enough to start over Dylan Brooks, or if we ever wanted to move Desmond Bane out of the lineup. So he's going to be a good option. Grayson Allen went down a lot. Kyle Anderson went up surprisingly. Tyus Jones got significantly better, so he'll probably take a lot of the Wesley Matthews minutes that we wanted. Luke Garza went down in potential, sadly. Precious Achiuwa didn't have a great season. So definitely not the best this offseason could have went, but I still think we're probably in a solid position to win some games. And in next video, I think I'm going to try and move on from Jonas Valanciunas, play Jaren Jackson Jr. at center and run something smaller. And we have a ton of cap space still. We have, you know, an extra 10, 11 million, so I want to utilize that to at least try and contend in the West to get into a playoff push, because I want Ja Morant to reach his potential and start winning, and I really think that winning in this game is important. So I want to start winning as soon as possible. I think Jonathan Kuminga, if we can't honestly move on Valanciunas for something that's a perfect fit, I wouldn't be opposed to moving Kuminga into the starting lineup and playing Jaren Jackson Jr. still as that small ball center. And this really makes me glad I didn't trade Jaren Jackson Jr. because he is pretty much going to be the cornerstone of this franchise now. If Jonathan Kuminga can't step up. But I think having picks 4 and 19 were solid. I think I probably should have picked Brandon Boston Jr., especially we wouldn't have had to sign Wesley Matthews, and we probably could have signed DeMarcus Cousins. Damn, that would have been such a better plan, I think. I think we would have been a better team. Because I think Boogie probably would have went down to like a 47, maybe. Like, not a ton, but he would have still been a very solid backup big. But we are moving on with this team. Happy that Trey Jones got better. Or Tyus Jones, not Trey Jones. He plays for the Spurs. But next episode, I would figure we are going to do an entire another season. And I think, depending on like a playoff run and all that, I think next episode we're definitely going to trade Jonas Valanciunas and then one of the backup point guards, so either Tyus Jones or DeAnthony Melton, to try and get some more level of a bench, maybe get some better wings and bigs. And maybe move on from Luke Garza early. I don't want to give up on him already. He hasn't even played an NBA minute yet. But him and Xavier Tillman, maybe while they still have value in their young players, I can move on from them. Same with Jonte Porter, because I want to try and make the playoffs next season. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see season number 2 with the Memphis Grizzlies, please leave a thumbs up on the video. And we can get that done probably in the week, because these aren't super hard to make. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.